Everyone, so nice to be back with you again. Today is March 1st. Thinking you might get this video today or it might be tomorrow, I'm not sure which. But it seems like it's been a long time when I think it's only been like a couple of weeks. I've been really busy here creating some journals and trying to get some stuff out. I have taken a poll, if you remember right, when we first started our community group, and that poll revealed to me that what you wanted was one project a month and one prompt a month. So for February, we did collage fodder. So I presented that to you with one video, and then 2 weeks later, about the middle of February, sometime in there, I added an extra video for you. This group is for us, meaning me and you, to share projects that we're working on, anything that has to do with our challenges or our prompts, and just no self-promotion. And those rules apply to me also. So you will see that I have the Artbybdell page, which is what you started following. That is my business page. We created the community page so that you guys can show and share what you're working on, because in the business page you weren't able to share pictures or anything. So this is why we started this group. Now, if you want more than one project and one video and one prompt a month, you'll have to let me know that. But the poll showed that's what you wanted, so that's what I gave you. I need for all of us to share and to be active in the group. That's why we join groups, is to be active. That includes me. With all that said and done, today's video is for March. And our challenge for March is making creative pages for our journal, not embellishing them, just coming up with different pages and papers and that can be used for making pages in our journal. I want to share with you what I do when I begin a journal, as far as where I choose my papers from, what kind of papers I choose, and if my pages are too big or too small, how I adjust them accordingly. First off, I'm just going to go through a stack of papers and show you where I come up with my papers. Okay, I have some tissue paper. Tissue paper, even though it is lightweight, can make a page in your journal. And you're looking at this and you're thinking, gosh, that is just, it is not any size for a journal, but it is for a junk journal. You can have pages, like put this in your signature as a page and use it like that. That would be perfectly doable. Envelopes can be pages in a journal. What doesn't even matter what size envelopes, big envelopes, small envelopes, whatever you have. Here is another envelope. So this one's really big. I would fold it in half and create a page in my journal, and that would fit one of the smaller size journals, which is, I believe, an A4, which is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper folded in half. That would fit that. That would also make a cover for one, I believe. So it doesn't matter what size. Now, your pages do not have to be, unless that's what you like, they do not have to be uniform, all one size. You can have them be different sizes. They can be torn, they can be scraps, they can be whatever you want, unless you want them uniform, and then you make them uniform. Here's a bag. So you can use different sized bags. Let's see, I think I have another bag in here. Here we go. So I have a little bag that can be folded in half and put in the biggest of journals and used as a page, just like that. Here's a bigger bag. Fold this one in half and use it as a page in your journal. Okay, other places you can get some paper is some child's manuscript paper. This makes nice pages in your journal. Sketch pads. There we go. Nice white clean paper that you can decorate up or just use as is. Newsprint. I was gifted newsprint by my friend, and that makes wonderful pages also. Just your digitals. You can print them on front and back, or just one or the other. This one is an reject one. You can see the colors. I was running out of ink and that got off, whatever. It's just, so anyhow, those would make a page. and either size journal. I'm going to show you how this would work in a large journal as opposed to just an A4 journal. Coffee stained copy paper or just plain old regular copy paper. It doesn't have to be coffee or tea stained. How about some vellum? Vellum is really nice as pages in your journal. And then we have my very favorite of all is ledger paper. I just happen to have been lucky enough that somebody I knew had some ledger papers and books, actually, the whole books. And so this is a large piece, and that generally sets the size for my large journals. Is this one piece of paper, and then everything will have to fit inside that. But there's different size ledger papers. This one is vintage. This one is not. You can buy these anywhere in Staples, you know. And then this one is another vintage one that is horizontal rather than vertical. So ledger papers are awesome. How about your jelly prints? We do jelly prints on copy paper like this is. You can do them on deli paper. You can do them on wax paper. You can, you know, do your jelly prints on whatever you want. You can do them on fabric. How about pages out of a book? This is just an old book that I got at a thrift shop. Now, you can use them just like this, fold it in half, use it as a page like this, and you can use them with just the print, or you can use them with the pictures too. There we go. This is a piece of graph paper that can make a page. The same person that gave me the ledger paper gave me these check stubs from a business back in '87. They serve no purpose now, but they make nice pages if you just fold them in half like this and put them in. How about fabric? Here's some muslin. You can use lace, you can use muslin, you can use whatever kind of fabric you want. This one is a piece of muslin with coffee stain on it. You can stiffen them with, what's it called? It's a fabric stiffener, iron-on fusible webbing that you can put on these. Piece of scrapbook paper, 12 by 12 scrapbook papers cut down to the right size can make pages. How about part of a map? That can make pages for your journals. Here is some handmade paper that can be a page. Player piano paper, there we go. I mean, that is kind of frail, but there are ways you can stiffen this up so that it can be used as a page. What my favorite things to do with the piano player paper is to take the fabric, take the piano player paper, put your fusible webbing on your fabric, and fuse it right to the player piano paper. And then you have, it works both ways for this. It helps your piano player paper and it helps your fabric. And now it's stiffer and can be used as a page. That's really cool. These are placemats that you can use. These are coffee stained again, but they can be a paper. How about that packaging that we get? These can be used as papers. Cut them down to the right size. Nice papers. This is, I found some typewriter paper in a thrift shop. So we have typewriter paper. Tracing paper works, wax paper works. This is, and I found this as an antique store, and I bought several rolls of it. It's construction paper, and I put some gesso on both sides of it. Yes, clear gesso on this side, and I believe, yep, clear gesso on both sides. But that makes interesting paper for your journal. Wallpaper, if you like wallpaper. There we go. Let's add some wallpaper. This is textured, and by the time you add inks and that to that, just beautiful. And another one of my favorites is my cleanup paper, my mixed media paper, which is what we started our challenge with in February. I was showing you how to do my mixed media paper. We can do sheet music. This is kind of frail, it's old, but if you put clear gesso or regular gesso on it, it stabilizes it and you can use it. Or line it with some clear paper that you see through, like your tracing paper, glue them together. So if you have, let me just go through some more. How about the Japanese papers? These are some fine art Japanese papers that are actually really, really pretty in your journals. My favorite thing to do with them is fold them into a triangle and put them into my signature like this, so they open up and you have this odd shape for your journals. Odd shapes are fun to have in your journals. Maruyama paper. I do believe that you can get this on Amazon. There's some brown, some green. I just happen to have it left over from my rubber stamping days. This is another piece of the Maruyama. I said that wrong. This is Maruyama, which is kind of like the woven. And this is, oh yes, it'll come to me in a minute. Okay, receipts. You can just fold one in half, or this is an example of what I do is I took a piece of thinner paper. It's a settlement paper, administration settlement paper. And I just glued the two together, and that made a big enough page for my journal. We have, I wanted a bigger page for my bigger journal, and if I would have folded this, which is your book paper, oh, where did it go? Somewhere in here. Anyhow, right here. This is what it is. And if I would have folded that in half, it would have made it a nice size page for my smaller journal, but I wanted it for my bigger journal. So I just took two pieces and I glued them right down the middle here. And then I folded them, and I had whatever was left over, I just folded back over on itself. And that makes a nice start for a fold out for your pages. You can do the same thing with your, this is another different size pieces of book paper. But if you wanted to, you could take your book paper and take your deli print and glue them together. You could glue them on the sides, and here's a pocket in here for you already. So don't be afraid to glue papers to alter their sizes to make them fit. That's just another one glued together. And let's see. Here is a piece of the newsprint, I think. Here's what I'm telling you with, take your deli prints and glue them down to another piece of paper, and you get the big size that you need for your bigger journal, if you make it a bigger journal. So now I want to show you how I would go about pulling papers together for a small journal. So I have my piece of ledger paper, and I fold it in half. I've cut down a piece of my cleanup paper, and as you see, it's shorter. It's okay. It's okay if it's shorter, if it's okay if it's not as wide. It was a piece I had, and I decided I was going to use it. 8.5 by 11 copy paper. Here is just a piece of paper out of a book, and this has the print on it, and all I did was fold it in half. Again, it's the smaller size than my 8.5 paper, which is what I'm judging this small journal on. I judge my small journals on my 8.5 by 11 paper. Here is a piece of that Japanese paper that I folded in differently, and then I cut the tips of it off, and so you have this unusual paper right here. I like that. A piece of music paper, sheet music, the smaller size, and then another different size book that I just folded the paper in half. This could be gessoed on so that you could journal on it, or you could just leave it as it is. I mean, that's pretty with the birds on it. And here again, here's what I'm showing you with the different size pieces of paper. Take two of them, two different ones, put them together, and you get this for your journal. And that's very interesting to open up a journal and find those different size pieces. Here is a piece of that architect paper right here. And I just cut it down to the right size. So that would be like one signature for one of my small journals. Now for my bigger journals, I have some ideas here. I don't think these are all folded, but like I say, I judge my bigger journals on this large piece of ledger paper. Until I run out of that paper, I'm good to go. So I have pulled a piece of the Japanese paper that I want to put in it. I'm going to take this check stub and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to use that as a page in my journal. So I would take this and fold it in half like this, and this would be folded in half also. This is a piece of my cleanup paper. And what I'm going to do with that one is I'm going to take these two pieces of paper and I'm going to glue them down here, and I'm going to use this large piece of ledger paper as a template for the size. So I'll put one piece here, line it up, and I'll take this one over here, line it up, and then I'll glue these two together. Now I'll cut that top off or rip it off or whatever, and then I'll fold these in half. Let's see if I can get a hold of it. And I'll have the right size page I need to fit inside this large journal. So that's what I would do with those two pieces of paper and this. This is a piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. And so I folded it in half, and it's going to have to be cut down. These pages are not cut down, but in order to go into this journal, I have to cut down that top edge. It's narrower, but it can't be any higher or any wider than my base paper that I'm judging everything off from. So this is a piece of book paper, and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take, for this one, I'm going to take a piece of coffee stain copy paper. I'm going to line these up on my base paper and then glue them down through here and then cut them down to size for my journal or tier. I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 Eco Print paper that is on watercolor paper, and all I'm going to do for that is fold it in half, and it'll go in my journal just like that. I have another piece of cleanup paper and a piece of sheet music. So I'm going to take both of these, lay them on my template, glue them together, and cut them down or tear them down to size. And that makes this paper, the sheet music, the music, otherwise the music would be going in this direction, which I could do. I could just fold this and use it like this. But I wanted the music to be upright like this, so then I have to glue papers together to get them to be the right size. So that is one signature. I think this one is about the same. It has the Japanese paper. Let me just look through here. Yeah, it's about the same thing. This is pretty much what I do for my journals, is how I get my papers. Now, I may come across something different sometime and add different things to them, and that's good. How about some parchment paper, guys? Take your parchment paper and put a coat of gesso on it, and then maybe stamp something on it, or gesso has tooth to it, so whatever you're going to use for mediums is at that point going to stick. And it sounds nice, right? Sounds good? And then we'll add that to our journal. I have been gifted this. It's just white paper. They asked me if I could use it because they had no use for it. And so my dear sweet sister-in-law saves me stuff. She works in an antique store, thrift store type thing. And when stuff like this comes in, she gives me a heads up, you know, is this something you can use? Sure, that's something I can use. So it's pretty wide, right? But if I fold that in half like this, let me get this white out of the way. If I fold it in half like this and then fold it back on itself, I can make a tuck spot or a pocket, just like that. And there's another page for our journal. Can go in just like that. So those are my ideas. What I have, this is what I use to come up with pages for my journal. What I want for a challenge from you this month, the month of March, one challenge is show us what you have for paper that you use in your journals. And if you have a different idea than what I've shown here, hey, show us and share us your idea. We'd all love to see. And maybe we can get some inspiration from you, from me, from all of us, and create something different in our journal. And then after you've shown us, let's see some of your pages after you've decorated them. There's even more fun. We're going to have a prompt this month. The prompt this month is going to be a pocket page. So I'd like you to take one of your pages that you're going to create in a journal, and I'd like to see some pocket pages from you. It's pretty simple. I think we all know how to do pockets. So you have a whole month. I hope to see you about the middle of the month again with maybe possibly another video pockets that I have done. So I'll be around. And remember, this is not just my group, it's our group, and we all need to share in order to make it fun and exciting, and so that we can each learn from each other. So, and I wanted to add one more thing, that if you see this video and you would like to join our group, you must be a member of Artbybdell Facebook page. The link will be listed below in order to join the community group. Also, there are 3 simple questions. Are you a member of the group? What kind of journaling do you like to do? And do you agree to our rules? You must answer all 3 of these or you will not get admission into the group. The group has been created for my followers so that they have a safe place to share with all of their artwork, whatever they want to share with, and it's non-promotional for anybody. So please follow the rules and request admission into our group, and we would just love to have you join us. Thanks for watching. We shall see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye now.